This is Nightline, and I am Natasha Busst. The top stories. PM condemns U.S.'s action in Venezuela, calls for immediate release of Maduro. And stable politics key to boosting trade and investor confidence, says Amnovi. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim has voiced deep concern over the recent developments in Venezuela after its president Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores were captured in a United States military operation. The Prime Minister said the operation constitutes a clear violation of international law and amounts to an unlawful use of force against a sovereign state. In a social media post on Sunday, Anwar called for the immediate release of Maduro and Flores. He warned that the forced removal of a sitting head of government by external parties sets a dangerous precedent. The Prime Minister also emphasized that the political future of Venezuela must be determined solely by its own people. He further explained that abrupt changes in leadership brought about through external force will do more harm than good, especially in a country already grappling with prolonged economic hardship and deep social strain. Anwar also reaffirmed Malaysia's foreign policy principles, stressing that respect for international law and national sovereignty remains central to peaceful relations between states. He also urged all parties to prioritize constructive engagement, dialogue, and de-escalation. World leaders have also responded with condemnation of the U.S. following the strikes that led to Maduro's capture. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva condemned the actions as crossing an unacceptable line, warning that attacking countries in blatant violation of international law is a first step toward global violence, chaos, and instability. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel also issued a strong condemnation, accusing Washington of carrying out a criminal attack on Venezuela and calling for an urgent international response. French President Emmanuel Macron, meanwhile, said the transfer of power in Venezuela must be peaceful, democratic, and respect the will of the people. He also expressed hope that opposition presidential candidate Edmundo González could help oversee the transition. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz called the legality of the U.S. operation complex, stressing that international law must be observed and warning against any rise in political instability in Venezuela, while UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres expressed deep concern that international law had not been respected and was deeply alarmed by the strikes, which set a dangerous precedent. Earlier, speaking at a news conference, Trump said the U.S. would run Venezuela until a safe and orderly transition could be ensured, following strikes that led to Maduro's capture. He also said that U.S. oil companies would help fix the country's damaged infrastructure and begin generating revenue for Venezuela.
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but it's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be.
The U.S. president added that his administration's actions would make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. However, it remains unclear how the U.S. would run Venezuela, with the president saying only that a group of people would lead the effort.
The United States.
At the same news conference, Trump issued a direct warning to Colombia's president following the U.S. military operation. When asked about Gustavo Petro saying he was unconcerned about the strikes on his neighbor, Trump accused Petro of having cocaine mills and factories, claiming they produce cocaine that is being sent into the U.S.
Well, he has cocaine mills. He has factories where he makes cocaine. And yeah, I think I stick by my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch his.
The comments followed Petro's condemnation of the U.S. capture of Maduro as an assault on Latin American sovereignty, warning that it could trigger a humanitarian crisis. Petro has also repeatedly criticized Trump's anti-drug strategy, including U.S. military patrols and potential strikes on drug production facilities in Colombia. Meanwhile, the Constitutional Chamber of Venezuela's Supreme Court ordered on Saturday that Vice President Delcy Rodriguez assume the role of acting president of the country in the absence of Maduro. The court ruled that Rodriguez would assume the presidency to ensure administrative continuity and the nation's defense. It added that judges would review the case to determine the legal framework needed to maintain state continuity, government administration, and national sovereignty during the president's forced absence. In the meantime, Maduro was held in a New York detention center on Sunday awaiting drug charges. The 63-year-old is scheduled to appear in a Manhattan court on Monday. The White House posted a video on X showing Maduro, handcuffed and wearing slippers, being escorted by federal agents through a U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration facility in New York. On Saturday, Maduro and his wife, Flores, were flown by helicopter from Stewart Air National Guard Base in Newburgh, New York, to Lower Manhattan before being transported to the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. The couple were captured after at least 7 explosions were reported across Caracas, killing at least 40 civilians. Meanwhile, the Foreign Ministry has confirmed that all Malaysians in Caracas are safe and have been accounted for. In a statement on Sunday, Wisma Putra said the Malaysian embassy in the Venezuelan capital has successfully contacted all registered Malaysians in the South American country. The embassy is also closely monitoring the situation in Caracas following Saturday's operation. Malaysia's trade and investment prospects this year can be further strengthened if political stability is maintained. According to Investment, Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani, investor confidence is closely tied to the country's political climate, warning that frequent changes in leadership could undermine sentiment and weaken Malaysia's appeal as an investment destination. Johari, who is also UMNO Vice President, stressed that political stability is a fundamental pillar of economic development, particularly in efforts to attract new investments and retain existing ones, while political uncertainty could distract the government from implementing much-needed economic reforms, slowing progress and policy execution. According to the minister, constant shifts in government make it difficult to ensure consistency in economic planning and the effective rollout of long-term policies.
Bagi saya, kita kena memastikan bahawa kestabilan politik negara ini perlu kita pertahankan. Jadi dalam setiap mana-mana sistem sekalipun, apabila kita berubah kerajaan ini kerap, jadi orang agak tidak yakin dari segi mereka ingin datang ke negara kita untuk melabur atau untuk kita membangunkan ekonomi.
The Titi Wangsa Member of Parliament was speaking on the sidelines of a back-to-school program in the capital. He added that a stable and conducive environment allows businesses to grow, creates jobs, and drives economic expansion, ultimately improving the standard of living for Malaysians. The government has been urged to consider a temporary suspension of social media platform X amid growing concerns over user safety and the spread of harmful online content. Experts warn that the platform's highly permissive approach to content moderation has allowed sensitive and damaging material to circulate with very little control. Growing concern towards X has intensified with the introduction of Grok, the artificial intelligence tool integrated into the platform, which generates responses based on existing data on the site. Experts say this raises serious questions about the type of data being used, the user profiles involved, and how these factors influence the content that ultimately spreads online.
Dalam industri keselamatan cyber, apabila sesuatu produk terbukti berbahaya, atau tidak mengikut undang-undang ataupun dasar yang kita ada, ia dipanggil sebagai critical vulnerability. Aplikasi ini tidak harus dibuka semula sehingga pihak developer membuktikan tapisan mereka adalah 100% kalis penyalahgunaan oleh pengguna.
On January 3rd, the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, or MCMC, confirmed it is investigating the alleged misuse of the AI tool to manipulate images of women and children, resulting in content described as obscene, extremely offensive, and in some cases, harmful. MCMC said representatives from the platform will be called in to assist with the investigation. The Commission stressed that although X is not currently a licensed service provider in Malaysia, it is still required to comply with the country's online safety standards.
Seiring dengan matlamat kerajaan itu untuk melindungi pengguna di Malaysia. Dan kalaulah ke tahap kerajaan perlu temporary ban sementara berdiskusi dengan platform ini yang memang kita faham sukar nak memberi kerjasama, jadi kerajaan kenalah buat penegasan. Kita ada jawatan kuasa dah, kita dah ada ni. Ambillah pandangan daripada pemegang-pemegang taruh itu untuk kerajaan membuat keputusan yang kukuh.
Over the past 2 weeks, an increasing number of users on the platform have requested Grok to create images and to morph photographs of women and children in a sexual context. The trend caught on globally after the platform introduced the edit image feature ahead of Christmas. Alongside Malaysia, governments in India and France are weighing regulatory action against Grok amid claims the AI chatbot has produced content that may breach national and international laws. The Health Ministry will conduct an internal audit on the Malaysian Medical Council, MMC, following delays in the issuance of annual practicing certificates, PAT, for 2026. Its Minister, Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad, has instructed the MMC to submit a detailed report to identify the root cause of the issue, mitigation measures taken, and a clear timeline for full resolution. In response, the ministry will implement a comprehensive system recovery plan in collaboration with the MMC to prevent a recurrence. The ministry also said it is committed to upgrading the legacy merit system to a more robust, automated and rules-based digital platform. At the same time, an evaluation will be carried out to consider the introduction of multi-year practicing certificates as part of broader policy reforms to reduce bureaucratic burden. The MMC on Saturday apologized for the delay, citing a sudden surge in applications towards the end of last year. It added that medical practitioners who have yet to receive their PAT are allowed to continue practicing provided they submitted their application, made payment, and met all requirements on or before December 31st. Earlier, the Malaysian Medical Association, MMA, had called for a comprehensive review of the MMC's administrative operations. Its president, Dr. R. Tirunavukarasu, urged the council to clear all outstanding PAT applications by January 31st. Federal police are keeping a close watch on 8 religious teachings that have been officially declared deviant in Malaysia amid concerns they could evolve into a broader threat to public safety. Deputy Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Ayub Khan Maidin Piche said the monitoring effort is aimed at preventing distorted beliefs from escalating into extremist movements that could undermine social order and national security. Ayub Khan said the 8 groups under close watch are among a total of 14 groups identified as being linked to deviant teachings that are still active in the country.
Pihak yang mengatakan kenapa pihak polis nak mengambil berat tentang ajaran sesat. Ajaran sesat ni bukan isu polis. Jadi orang tak faham. Bermula pada ajaran sesat dan orang akan terlibat aktiviti keganasan, militan sebagainya.
He said most of the groups under surveillance involve local followers, although there have been elements of foreign influence. He stressed that continuous monitoring allows authorities to intervene early before such movements develop into more serious or dangerous situations. Since 1950, a total of 154 teachings have been declared deviant through religious rulings in Malaysia. In a world that is increasingly shaped by technology, more and more daily tasks, from work and education to communication and entertainment, are now carried out using digital devices. But as technology becomes essential rather than optional, a key question emerges. How high is too high when it comes to the price we pay for technology? Nightline's Muhammad Nadir Asfar has the report.
Random access memory, or RAM, is the key component in modern electronic devices. The fingernail-sized chip allows devices to process information quickly and operate smoothly. However, a recent surge in demand for memory chips has led to a sharp increase in prices. National Tech Association of Malaysia, or PCOM chairman Alex Liu, said it is largely attributed to the rapid growth of artificial intelligence, or AI, as its systems require far more memory than conventional computing to handle massive amounts of data in real time.
It's an effect of what we call the AI cannibalization, where the global manufacturers for memories, right, namely Samsung, Micron, and so on, they have moved to and also pivoted the production, right, of the high bandwidth memory, so to serve the AI boom. Hence, there is left for a supply vacuum for the standard consumer RAM.
Alex explained that the issue has persisted since 2025, with prices surging by as much as 172% late last year, adding that retail prices for RAM modules have also reportedly been fluctuating on a weekly basis. The sharp rise in RAM prices has had a knock-on effect on end products such as smartphones, gaming consoles, and desktop computers. To illustrate the impact, Alex said a laptop priced at 3,000 ringgit in 2025 could now cost around 3,600 ringgit, representing a steep 20% increase.
There are many resellers and system integrators that absorb the cost of the increase. However, we expect that in 2026, right, the buffer stocks would have already been depleted or finished. Then the new shipments are arriving now at very big prices, and these are being passed on because the margins are actually very competitive.
With the price hike, Alex noted that local small and medium enterprises will be among those deeply impacted.
We felt that the first thing is the delayed digitalization process for the SMEs, right? And of course for the startups, right, who are using the HAI or local large language models, they are a hard hit because all these applications require very high intense RAMs.
Members of the public also weighed in on the issue.
Yeah, for me is the price is I can be considered. The most important is I would like to prevent my data to be leaked. So that's why I prefer to buy new phone or new laptop for my own benefits.
Personally, for me, if I really need, if the price is about 3%, 4% up, it's still okay. But if it's now 10%, 20%, I'll probably just use what I have at the moment. Yeah.
For me, saya tengok kegunaan saya lah. Saya nak memori yang tinggi ke ataupun rendah. And then saya tengok ekonomi saya jugalah dari segi kewangan saya. Kalau saya boleh affordable dengan kegunaan saya untuk pakai yang masa yang lama, saya akan ambil lah. Tapi
in the meantime, here are some tips for consumers considering device upgrades during the memory chip price surge.
If the current laptop is, let's say, 2 or 3 years old, consider only RAM upgrade instead of a full replacement. And it's more cost effective in terms of doing it this way in the high cost environment, right? And also leverage the tax relief, right? We have
a shift in global demand has driven RAM prices higher, reflecting how small changes can ripple the tech supply chain. What was once a small upgrade has now shown how interconnected the global production has become. Muhammad Nadir Asfar, TV3.
Accelerator error causes collision. More news from the local front after this breather.
Dia bawa memory, dia macam walk down memory lane lah.
It's a fresh look. Dia mengimbau kembalilah romantic fantasy tu. Ini antara cinta antara dua dunia. Korang kena saksikan. Sekarang saya cerita lebih.
spoiler. Kalau nak release stress, tension apa semua bagai dan sambut New Year dengan hati yang ceria dan gembira, korang kena tengok filem Duyung Legenda Aurora. Inilah suatu filem sangat menghibur and entertaining. Support filem tempatan.
Baru-baru ini tular anak kecil tidak dibenarkan dibawa ke majlis. Salahkah nak bawa anak-anak?
Kegagalan buah pinggang antara penyakit yang semakin membimbangkan. Apakah faktor dan rawatannya?
Larangan merokok di premis makanan. Masih lagi ada yang tak edah.
Lampu kenderaan pelbagai warna mengundang bahaya juga kemalangan.
Dan soal wang pengukuhan ringgit.
Amy Shai setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat.
Hanya ditonton dan TV3.
Lelaki tak guna, kau rampas maruah aku.
Nazimah dah balik. Perempuan tu nama dia Dewi. Bukan Nazimah. Saya sayang negara awak, Dewi.
Dasar jantan tak guna! Aku akan pastikan aku dapat tuntut.
Susuk Rupawan. Mulai 7 Januari. Isnin hingga Khamis 10 malam. Terbaru di Samarinda TV3 dan stream juga melalui tonton.
Sumpah demi Allah, saya tak tahu apa-apa langsung pasal semua benda ni, Isha.
Ustaz tak dapat bantu hati saya yang sakit, Ustaz.
Apa?
Perempuan tu dah gila.
Sumpah, Mama tak tipu.
Sebab tu aku jadi kurang ajar.
Itu rapuh sangat dia. Perempuan tidak ternikah. Minggu akhir, Isnin dan Selasa 7 malam di Akasia TV3.
2 people were killed after a pickup truck lost control and crashed into a car carrying a family of 4 in Tangkak, Johor on Saturday night. The pickup had struck a buffalo that suddenly wandered onto the road, causing it to veer into the opposite lane and into the family's path.
Minta lah tolong pantau lembu masing-masing. Kesian tengok diorang ni.
The accident happened at around 8 p.m. along Jalan Kebun Baru, Bukit Serampang, near Sri Ledang. Tangkak District Police Chief Superintendent Roslan Muhammad Talib confirmed that the pickup collided with the buffalo before swerving into oncoming traffic and crashing into the victim's vehicle. A 74-year-old woman, Kumhachu Muhammad, died at the scene while her youngest daughter, 42-year-old Siti Aisha Maideen, who was driving, succumbed to her injuries at the Tangkak hospital. 2 other family members were injured. Zalifa, aged 39, sustained serious injuries and is receiving treatment at the Sultana Fatima Specialist Hospital in Muar, while Ismail, aged 54, suffered minor injuries. A relative of the victims said the 4 were traveling from Kesang to Labis to attend a family memorial gathering. The remains of the mother and daughter were laid to rest at the Masjid As-Salam Cemetery in Kesang Tua, Tangkak. A man accidentally rammed into 2 parked cars after mistakenly pressing the accelerator pedal in Taman Puchong Indah, Selangor. Subang Jaya District Police Chief, Assistant Commissioner 1 Azlan Wan Mamat, said police became aware of the incident after a video of the crash went viral earlier on Sunday. Initial investigations found that the incident had occurred on December 28th at about 12:30 p.m. At the time, a 40-year-old man was attempting to park his vehicle at a parking lot. However, he accidentally stepped on the accelerator, causing his car to hit a vehicle in front of him. In a state of panic, he then collided with another car before coming to a stop. All 3 vehicle owners have since lodged police reports. The case is being investigated under the Road Transport Act for careless and inconsiderate driving. Also in Selangor, a man has been arrested to assist investigations into a fight at the Sungai Long Toll Plaza towards Balakong last Friday. Kajang District Police Chief, Assistant Commissioner Nazrun Abdul Yusuf, said checks found the suspect has 1 prior criminal record. The 30-year-old private sector worker was arrested at around 10:30 p.m. on Saturday night. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for criminal intimidation, which carries a punishment of up to 2 years imprisonment or a fine or both. Police are also probing the case under the Road Transport Act, which provides for a fine or imprisonment of not less than 1 year or both upon conviction. It was previously reported that police were hunting for 2 men who were seen behaving aggressively while holding what was believed to be a wooden object at the Sungai Long Toll Plaza along the East Klang Valley Expressway. In Kedah, a sales manager has been charged at the Alor Star Magistrates Court with obstructing a police officer and insulting religion during an incident last week. 35-year-old Teo Siu Lee, however, pleaded not guilty to all charges. The offences were allegedly committed at Taman Bandar Baru, Mergong. Teo is accused of using criminal force by spitting at a lance corporal with the intention of obstructing the officer while on duty. She is also charged with insulting the officer's modesty by making an obscene gesture. Both charges are framed under the Penal Code. In a third charge, Teo is accused of uttering words that insult religion under the Penal Code. The court granted her bail of 12,000 ringgit, with the case mentioned fixed for January 20th. Saudi-backed forces retake southern Yemen cities. The details when Nightline returns.
Many of my friends call me Azim. Your home have BOM. You lose your sister and 4 people in your family.
Bayangkan di sana, suasana ini suasana harian. Tiap-tiap hari ada 20 bedilan bom.
Focus for Gaza, not forget Gaza. Alhamdulillah.
Waktu tu tak ada orang yang pernah buat lagi dalam Indonesia ni. Saya buat sampai sekarang lah. Ukiran dia ni dia tidak sekadar potret wajah saja, tapi ada kisah orang yang tempah saja yang tahu.
Di tengah ketakutan, suara kecil ini meminta simpati.
Suara terakhir yang tidak akan pernah padam. Ini adalah kekejaman yang menghapuskan suara kecilnya.
Ini adalah pertanyaan kepada dunia. Di manakah hati dan nurani?
انت شو اسم العيلة؟ شو اسمك الكامل؟
Terus keping je.
Mesti shopping pun boleh. Siap ada diskaun lagi.
Dalang di sebalik rumah lalu.
Tak ada bang. Siapa tak ada bang?
Kereta mewah jadi tempat sorok dadah.
Ini heroin. Topang, dia masuk topang. Kita akan packing semula ni. Kita akan bawa kecil-kecil balik ni.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tutut.
On to the foreign front. Yemen's internationally recognized government, led by the Saudi-backed Presidential Leadership Council, PLC, on Saturday, said its forces have regained control of Wadi Hadramaut, Shahara and Al-Mahra following the withdrawal of Southern Transitional Council, STC, forces. Hadramaut Governor Salim Al-Kanbashi said the government's Homeland Shield forces helped secure Wadi Hadramaut and Shahara districts. He also announced their deployment to all vital locations, including Seyun International Airport and other key government and service facilities. Fighting in southern Yemen erupted in recent days after the STC launched a major offensive last month in the country's Hadramaut and Al-Mahra provinces, which make up nearly half of Yemeni territory. At least 3 Palestinians were killed by Israeli fire in various areas across the Gaza Strip on Sunday in the Zionist military's latest violation of the ceasefire. Among the casualties was a 15-year-old boy who was killed by gunfire in the Jorat Alut area south of Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip. 2 more deaths were reported in the city's coastal waters and the Al-Mawasi area west of Khan Yunis. In recent weeks, the Israeli Navy has fired on Palestinians off the coast of Rafah in southern Gaza, where the military has also carried out airstrikes. On to sports now. Football, the Super League. 2 matches took place on Sunday night. Kuala Lumpur City FC claimed an emphatic 4-2 victory over Immigration FC, while league leaders Johor Darul Tazim JDT secured a 2-0 win against Selangor FC. Playing at the MBPJ Stadium, the reigning champions took the lead in the 7th minute after Richmond Ankara turned the ball into his own net. Despite several chances at both ends, the scoreline remained unchanged until the 92nd minute when Bergson de Silva scored the decisive goal, securing a 2-0 victory. The win widens JDT's lead at the top with 39 points, 11 ahead of second-placed Kuching City FC, while the Red Giants sit fourth with 25 points. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at survivors rescued by the humanitarian ship Ocean Viking in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, playing sports, drawing and dancing as they wait to reach the port of Savona in Italy. With that, I'm Natasha Busst. Thank you for watching and stay safe.